My name is Phil Churchman, and thank you for joining this poster presentation on the political and socio-technical roadblocks to UK road freight decarbonisation. As you're aware, road freight is a material contributor to carbon emissions and must be abated to achieve the UK government's objective of net zero carbon by 2050. The choice of motive technology is less clear than for personal passenger vehicles, and significant operational and economic constraints impose additional transition hurdles. There is also arguably a more complex web of stakeholders and decision influencers. In conducting the literature review for the project, it was observed that the large majority of work on the road freight transition was techno-economic in nature. It is of course essential to understand the technical and economic benefits and limitations of different options. However, there is far less work on political and socio-technical aspects. This is in contrast with a substantial socio-technical focus on the transition of passenger vehicles. Linked to this, there appears to be limited social science or qualitative research engagement with freight operators and participants. This is a substantial gap, given that it is these who must enact and are most impacted by the transition. The first figure is a distillation of the technology options identified from literature. While the assessment of technologies was not the purpose of this study, it is important to understand these to then consider political and socio-technical factors. The number of technology options is an opportunity, but also a challenge, as it risks fragmenting resources and complicating decision making. A wide-ranging review was conducted of road freight and transitions literature. For the former, government, NGO and industry sources were consulted in addition to academic sources. Primary research sought to address the identified gaps by conducting semi-structured interviews with a highly expert group of 15 individuals, including senior managers from road freight operators, global shippers, industry institutions, and logistics consulting companies. An anchor reference for the study was integrating techno-economic, socio-technical, and political perspectives on national energy transitions, a meta-theoretical framework by Churchman et al. This was one of very few sources found that brought together the range of transition perspectives relevant for road freight. Their nomenclature was adopted for this study. Interview transcripts were coded by theme and 157 distinct opinions identified. Of the 61 of these voiced by at least 2 people, 57 could be grouped under 6 overarching viewpoints. Government leadership is necessary, it must work economically and operationally, policy uncertainty is a significant barrier, non-motive technology opportunities should also be pursued, hydrogen may not be viable for road freight in the near term, responsibility for charging deployment and grid upgrades must be clarified. There was rich insights within each one of these, which there is unfortunately not time to go into further here. It was interesting, however, that while different participants focused on different themes, there were no examples of clearly conflicting views. This suggests a significant degree of common ground between participants. The headline finding from the study was that while techno-economic factors are clearly very important, socio-technical and political factors are seen as potentially even more so as roadblocks to the transition. This is illustrated in the second figure, which takes the 57 shared opinions that align to the 6 overarching viewpoints and identifies the transition elements, as defined by Churchman et al., that each opinion relates to. Technology diffusion, regimes and niches, state goals, political interests, and institutions and capacities are all highly relevant to the opinions expressed. Regarding further research, there would be significant value in deeper investigation of the 6 identified overarching viewpoints. This could include qualitative research of the type conducted for this study and choice experiments to evaluate preferences amongst available pathways. This study has also confirmed that there is a research gap in the socio-technical and political aspects of the road freight transition. There exist helpful frameworks and insights from other energy transitions that could be applied and developed. Finally, there is an opportunity to further build on Churchman et al.'s integrative approach. All 3 transition perspectives are relevant for road freight decision makers and actors. Research that considers all 3 may both deepen understanding and aid those seeking to effect the change. This work has been submitted as a paper. I would like to thank my co-author and supervisor, Noel Longhurst from the Tyndall Centre at the University of East Anglia, and the 15 participants who generously gave their time to participate in the study. Thank you very much for listening.